arrived at the last stop. Welcome. I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay, AM. Here at the last stop, we're going to introduce a few analysts, and I like the way they express it, and bring it right down to the chase, or what did they say? Bring it right down to the point up front. So I'm going to introduce to you first, it would be Harrison Smith. He is a commentator from the InfoWars. So this is Harrison Smith, his takeaway on Alligator Alley.
Your Auschwitz, just to really drive it home, how little we care about the outrage of the left. It's a concentration camp. Well, you can't have deportations without deportation sites. I don't know what to tell you. We wouldn't have to do this if you hadn't let in tens of millions of foreigners. Sorry, we got to pick up your mess. Sorry, we got to deal with this. Here's the real crazy thing about it. If you don't want to get sent to Alligator Auschwitz, if you don't want to be locked in a cage with a bunch of other dudes in the sweaty Florida swamp surrounded by man-eating monsters, go home today. Go home today. Go get on the internet, type flight to El Salvador, click purchase, and go away. And then you will never be eaten by an alligator, okay? It's very simple. A very simple thing you have to do. Leave. Go home. Nobody's stopping you. We'll help you. We'll actually help you get home. And if you don't, and if you insist on being here without our permission, and against all warnings, then you got to go to the alligator place. Family, I'm sorry, that's just how it is.
I really want you to grasp the weight of this invasion, and amongst other things that's going on. My previous podcast, I was speaking on the Jeffrey Epstein debacle, being a CIA and Mossad asset. For those of you who do not know what that is, please look up CIA. Please look up Mossad, Israeli intelligence, so-called intelligence. It's better to be, a better label would be an Israeli spy network. And the same thing with the CIA, the Central Spy Agency. It should be SPA instead of, CSA, Central Spy Agency. But not to belabor that point, but you must understand the gravity of it all. This is serious. This is not, it's not TV. Although you've seen this stuff on TV. Yes, you have actually seen these things happen on TV over and over again. We've become immune to it. But this is not TV. No, this is live and in color, and it is happening right here, right now. The lies in front of our face. Oh, the lies. There's a word that the so-called media has introduced, and most of the podcasters and your new so-called journalists report on things this way. They use this phraseology called gaslighting, gaslighting the American citizens. Well, see, this language is so important. Gaslighting. What does that actually mean? It literally means just straight up lying. So they want to, it's like the N word. We don't want to say what it actually is. So they'll just put some other words in there, and that takes away from the weight of the conspiracy, of the lies, which they want to call gaslighting. So I want us to remember that when you ever hear that term gaslighting, notice it's just a substitute word for lying, an outright lie. So I get passionate with these things, and I want to go back with Harrison. I want to go back with Harrison here because he's I just, again, some of the things that he phrases, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, you know. If I come up with a saying, not I don't come up with it, but if I come up with a thought, like what can I say? A thought like, say if you're talking to your sweetheart, you know, and you just tell her you love her, you love her, you love her, and then I say, well, I've got a song for that. Well, it wasn't my song, but Stevie Wonder, you know. I don't want to bore you with it, oh, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I operate. So bear with me. Your host, Mansa Bay AM, here at the last stop, and here's another segment with Harrison Smith on Infowars.
The thing that we're focusing primarily on is the understanding that the Democrats already so egregiously overstepped the bounds of our Constitution, so viciously hunted down and threw into prison innocent people after January 6th, have so devastatingly destroyed the foundations of our government. I don't understand how the people in power treating what's going on now like just another day at the office. And that I don't have to look into the future. You can look into the past. You can look at the last 4 years where the Democrats opened up the borders to tens of millions of people. And you just go through the, and maybe that's what, and it's where you list all of the usurpations and abuses of the party in power. They already were holding show trials. They already were engaged in what they themselves described as shock and awe campaigns to terrorize the average Republican into silence by going after their most influential social media influence. What they've already done is treasonous.
What they have already done is treasonous. I'm going to say that again. What they have already done is treasonous. Now, I did this a little bit of editing last week, and I took a little pause from the cause, addressing some personal issues, which I believe worked out, very well. I'm so thankful to Almighty God, Allah. But treasonous, that's what he said. And now you see, bringing it right up to the modern times, right up to date here, whereas the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has released documents that clearly show the treason of the Obama administration, the treason of perhaps Obama himself. I believe treason on behalf of Obama himself. They like to say alleged, and it is reported that again, that's these words, that that can be misconstrued, or they can be screwed counterclockwise. They can screw it to fit someone's deceptive intelligence. But I choose not to do that. I choose to, call it the way I see it. Because, again, that's living with reality. The truth, and it has its consequences. As they say, elections have consequences. Well, the truth has its consequences as well. So yes, Tulsi Gabbard released these documents that, in my opinion, again, you research this material yourself and satisfy your intellect, but I call it treasonous. I called General Milley way back when this general up under Trump's first administration, he was communicating with his counterpart in China, telling that don't worry about Trump, I've got this things under control. He was committing treason right there. So I look forward to him being tried as well. And the courts, quote unquote, the courts. Well, they have things that's called the military tribunals. Yeah. They also have grand juries too. And you don't have to wait on the federal government or the state government or such and such and such and such. The grand juries is a right of the citizenry. Yes. Yes, the citizen can form a grand jury and indict. That's the power of the people. Remember, the government is for the people, of the people, and by the people. Blah, blah, blah. That was my Joe Biden moment, okay? But, yeah, treasonous. So, oh, family, my offspring, my cousins, my aunties, uncles that are living that recognize me or not recognize me, Some of our family we haven't seen for many, many years. And some of our family perhaps we have never seen, such as my case. But I don't sweat that, because family is just from the root word, what is it? Familiar. Just familiar. And oftentimes I've heard it said, and it has been demonstrated, that your worst enemies can be those who are among your family. So, go figure. So, I hit that and quit it. Go on, hit it and quit it. Hit it and quit it. All right, let's get some more of these texts in here before I proceed on. But, yeah, I wanted to bring that right up to date, right to the modern times, where Tulsi Gabbard was pointed out, and with these documents now that they've uncovered, that the Obama administration and all of its underlings are guilty of treason. So it's on your desk, Ms. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General appointed by Donald J. Trump. He says that she's doing a fantastic job. However, no one has been indicted. No one has been arrested. Not Fauci, not Dota, no Dada, no Netta, nobody of the so-called deep state and these treasonous people, these clowns. No, they're not clowns. These wise, deceptive serpents. Come on, family and people. You want to call into your congressmen, your senators, and all that kind of stuff, and your local officials. Don't leave them out, because they're just as corrupt too. Yes. I like the way Minister Farrakhan said it when he was in Detroit here in 2020, just before they publicized the so-called COVID thing. He said that Donald Trump's election there was what we're going to find was the peeling back of the onion. And the minister called it the onion of civility. So it's being peeled back layer by layer. Peeling that onion back, seeing what's up, what's down up under that next layer. It said for every positive level, well, that's not the right quote, but it goes something like, for every new level, there's a new level of devil, adversary. Yeah. So my believing family, my believing people, well, all of you are my family. Yes. All of you are my family. Some of you I'm not too familiar with, and vice versa. But I'm your host and conductor, Mansa Bay AM, here at the last stop, where you get conclusive, dynamic, conclusive information that you can take it to God and satisfy your own intellect. Because if it doesn't fit biblically, if it does not fit biologically, if it does not fit mathematically, if it does not match, if you can't get from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, if you got to skip some steps in there, then you got a problem, Houston. I like that. No, that's it. We got a problem, Houston. Well, we got a problem, people. We got a problem, people. But we can fix it. It just takes courage and for the good men and the good women to communicate with each other and make our word bond. That's all it takes.
How many times have you been told?
Now we're borrowing from our grandchildren's grandchildren. Your grandchildren aren't going to have grandchildren. You understand that?
Dang.
Unless we do something about the problems that America's facing right now. Your grandchildren are going to have concerns a hell of a lot greater than their taxes. If things keep going the way that they're going. Tell you what, if you don't want your grandchildren be stripped naked, beheaded, and hung upside down from an overpass as a warning from the cartels, if you don't want your grandchildren to be kidnapped by mask wearing psychopaths who are going to burn them to death high off their ass on, then you need to do something about what's happening in this country and not work it quite so much. I don't know how much more clear this can be. If you don't children to be hunted down by AOC's death squad, storing food and thereby harming the collective, like you got to do something about what's happening in America and not concern yourself so much about all of the fake money it's going to cost. About how it's going to cause carpal tunnel syndrome. Button too much. Money's fake. We don't care about the budget. Get it done. Solve the problems that are existential for us as individuals and for the country and the world as a whole. Please, can we just stop? Can we just stop tearing ourselves apart and just do what's necessary to solve these issues before the looming specter, the combination of the South Africa-like collapse of our safety and normal functional infrastructure in this country and the spotted communistic, socialistic madness that we see coming down the pipe from the Democrats? Can we solve these issues first, and then we can worry about how much it costs, for the love of God? Again, I love not living in a country where these types of people exist. And we're losing that, and you don't come back from that. So, tell you what, you can either saddle your grandchildren's grandchildren with a little bit of that will not affect their lives or actually impact them in any way, or they can live around people like this. Let's watch. Oh, thank God, the budget is so low. Oh my gosh, remember when we almost accidentally paid for people's health care? Gee, I didn't do that. Now we just have a bunch of goblins, a bunch of literal goblins with modified Soviet weapons driving around in scary clown masks hunting people. But did we tell you how low the... But have you seen how low the deficit is, though?
Right.
So, yeah. hard to care that much.
Harrison was killing it right there. I had to go back and find that because he was killing it. He was putting it right on the line. And you see how it ties into Alex Jones and General Flynn. Oh, General Flynn was devastating. I don't know when I'm going to put that on before this or after this here, but General Flynn, oh man, I tell you, just laid it straight out. What are we going to do? We're going to sit out our hands? Are you going to call your officials? You going to say anything to anybody? You going to spread the word? Or you going to hide your light up under a bushel basket? Let your little light shine. Or let this great light shine.
Mr. Yuri Alexandrovich Bezmenov. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He had an outstanding career with the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean?
Ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him.
Do you believe then that men can become pregnant and have abortions?
Yes. What has this world come to? It's come to a world where drugs actually exist.
And people do ketamine on a couch. The next stage is destabilization. Economy,
There are some dire predictions on where the world economy is going.
foreign relations,
Some of the world's superpowers could be on a collision course.
defense systems.
The U.S. Army is cutting back its expectations due to, quote, unprecedented recruitment challenges.
The next stage, of course, is crisis.
Folks, we're in a crisis.
After crisis, you have so-called the period of no.
When we say getting back to normal, we mean something very different from what we're going through right now.
The demoralization process is basically completed already. I could never believe it when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast. This is exactly what the KGB and Marxist-Leninist propaganda wants from Americans, to distract their opinion and attention from real issues of the United States, to have a bunch of duped Americans, then Americans who are healthy, physically fit, and alert to the reality.
What is your ideal political or social structure?
Communist utopia?
That's why my KGB instructors specifically made a plan. Try to get into filthy rich movie makers, intellectuals, cynical, egocentric people who can look into your eyes with angelic expression and tell you a lie. These are the people who KGB wanted very much to recruit. All these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of subversion only to destabilize the nation. When it's completed, they think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. The psychological shock, and they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice. Obviously, they will join the leagues of dissenters. The Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. These people will be simply squashed like perches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. The United States is in a state of war. The initiator of this war is the world communist system.
That's what we need out of this. That's what we need.
This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
Okay, so what do we do? What is your recommendation to the American people?
The immediate thing that comes to my mind is, of course, there must be a very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including your precious lives. I know Americans don't like to listen to things which are unpleasant. I tried to get the message across. To my horror, nobody wanted even to listen, least of all to believe what I had to say. The time bomb is ticking. With every second, the disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defend.
And it's time for humanity to stand up in the info war and say, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this, but you want to fight. You better believe you got one.
From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
This must be done. This is the duty of Trump, which we know he wants. This is the duty of the Justice Department. And if it's not done very soon, what do we then do? You have the floor, sir, to unpack first the level of treason, as you said earlier, we're dealing with, and what must be done.
Yeah. So first of all, Alex, we're at war. We're at war with a very intrusive component of our federal government and now some of the other institutions. And this is a Marxist takeover, and these people have not quit. It started with Barack Obama. They wanted Hillary Clinton desperately. Trump won. You know, they stole the election in 2020. Trump, thank God, survived an assassin's bullet to his head, and he's now the president, and he's doing some amazing things. But this nation, and I want everybody to understand that this is a Marxist revolution that is ongoing in our country and has been for a long time. So Trump, and another aspect of the presidency, the President of the United States is the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, and he is the Chief Law Enforcement Officer for the country, not the Attorney General of the United States, okay? The President is. So the President has extraordinary national emergency powers, national security authorities that he can exercise. And I can tell you, with this report, with what Senator Grassley put out about elections and the intrusion of our elections by foreign adversaries and others that were supporting them inside of this country, and what we now know of what they tried to, sort of pull the wool over our eyes with the head of the CIA, the head of the National Intelligence Directorate, and the head of the FBI. Those three alone, never mind a few others, we now must demand accountability. And I can tell you, just looking at the last 24 hours, and I put something out a couple of days ago, and I've actually said this on your show before. The people that they need to go after, they need to go after some of these guys right now, and I mean like today and tonight.
You said a year ago, a month ago, you said Brennan, Clapper, and Comey are the kingpins. You get them, the whole thing falls, and now it's in the report.
Yeah, and exactly, and like I said, you go pick up Jim Clapper. So Kash Patel, go pick up Jim Clapper, take him on a long ride to wherever he's going to be questioned, and I guarantee during that ride he will spill his guts because Jim Clapper does not want to go to jail. He's an older gentleman. He's like probably 80, 81 years old. He doesn't want to go to jail for the rest of his life. And the other thing is Brennan, Comey, and Clapper. Those three amigos, they're soldiers. Okay, they're soldiers in this takeover.
Grab hold of all the prophets and bring them all together and let's live the lives we have lived. Yes, we suffered all that they have suffered. So now let's reap the reward that is promised to us. to come and join you. Walking together. Love to come and join you. Walking together. Love to come and join you. Walking because you love to come and join you.